Okay, Savannah, Georgia. This is the place that everyone recommended I need to check out. Graveface Records. And oh, look at that, we got a thing of balloons here. So let's see what kind of excitement we have here. What can
At the end of Thorn, to pick up my bass.
Wow, look at that.
I'm gonna rate him, dude. That bass is so nice. I love the way. I want to like do some fun shit to it. Like I want to like burn it or something. Just get it more wet burning. But I also want that to happen naturally. I can't remember.
There's my son Eric. There's my son Paul. Hi, Paul.
Hello? So, I want to do this. So, like,
This is pretty interesting. You can wear this.
Yes, yeah. It's
It's
fun.
to wear.
I
Yeah.
want that.
Who doesn't want that? Yes.
I think if I go on tour or something, yeah, I talked to Scary. He has one. He said it took a little, like, almost that year. Did you see that new one they did? I think there's also one of these guys, like, guitars on the plane, like Rep Star or the same thing.
Those are pretty cool.
Proponent of them. I think everyone should own one. They are awesome. My friend is not really in it. Which is okay though, because I feel less bad about being back in. Yeah, this guitar. Oh wow.
Plus 3. I didn't know that had came in. Oh, I haven't seen that.
On a guitar. Now it's like the bass Mikey Way. I would want that with just a little bit more black, like the dots maybe bigger or something.
There we go. Graveface Records. Graveface Records. They got 2 shops, I guess. There. We went to that one. And I hope you enjoyed the tour. It was pretty neat. This was highly recommended to me from Dave from Localbandography, along with a brewery that was top notch. I had just the best stout. It was a s'mores stout. It was so smooth and good. And oh my God. Then I had to get an oyster stout just to try that, because that's what Dave said was the best. Fantastic. But Graveface Records. Here's the... Isn't that a neat shirt? Savannah, Georgia. We had they gave me a few things. We got some stickers. Oh, it's neat. Hey, look at this. Keep our swamps clean. Swamp thing. Then a brochure. They have records and curiosities. So here was the other shop that I didn't. So it appears we went to the smaller shop. I didn't know which one. That was the one that came up. This one here has the largest curated collection of oddities on display in the South, and a look at the morbid side of history, displaying all things unusual, mysterious, and macabre, and unique. Freaky taxidermy, circus sideshow stuff, death, cults. I heard that they have paintings done by mass killers. We had read that and we thought, okay, that's what was in there, just paintings done by mass killers, and none of us wanted to deal with that. No, not going to happen. But so they had this shop, and there's a lot of different things in there, and I think this is the one that Dave was said to go. But I went to the smaller shop. Two wonderful gentlemen there that were working. Had a great conversation with them. Very enjoyable, very friendly, very helpful. Just a great time. It was a smaller shop, but you could see all this odd stuff that was in there, from stuffed animal heads to it was just crazy stuff, and really enjoyed it. They gave me a tote bag that was actually very neat. Isn't that nice? And there it is, Graveface Records. So Graveface Records, Savannah, Georgia. Well worth it, very enjoyable. The other shop looks like it's down on the waterfront, right downtown. And you know what? I'm no doubt I walked right by it, because I was down there a couple different times. But hey, it's the way it is. I did pick up some albums. Duh, right? And some of these I'm not going to do much, because I'm going to talk on a Sunday show, because they're new to me and I want to kind of look them over, listen to them, research them. But the 3 O'Clock, which is a group I've never had anything from, but you know, one of those 80s garage rock groups. Infidels, again, college rock from the 80s. Very neat. This was, I just saw this and I go, I don't know, do what? The Soul Surfers Soul Rock. Then you look at that picture and go, can it really be any good? I mean, I'm just looking and go, that thing has to suck, doesn't it? It just, can these soul funky? It says killer raw funk and soul. And you look at these guys, really? Ask, can you guys, do you mind putting that on? Yeah, we'll play that for you. 20 seconds. I'll take it. We'll talk more. All right, so here's one I did have. I wasn't sure if this was the Chesterfield Kings that I had, or was it a different one? No, I own this one. But what makes this a little interesting, there's an autograph from Andy Babu. Now, I don't have anything to certify it's him, but I'm going to say it is. And that's the bass, acoustic guitar, and backing vocals. I mean, okay, he's the bass player, so like, all right. But you know what? It's an autograph, right? It's good for me. And the final one I got there was from Iggy Pop, blah, blah, blah. I've kind of passed on this. There is some water damage here. But I had this. So this kind of goes into records I brought back into my collection. I did bring this back in. This is not the best Iggy Pop album. David Bowie helped to make it. They did have Wild Child. Is made in 86, I believe, and you can feel the 80s. You know, the 80s are in there with the synth and all that happening. You know, the last song, Winners and Losers, he kind of lets loose a little bit, but overall, this is not an essential Iggy Pop album to me. But price is right. I bought it, and I like Wild Child. I do like that. So that's why I bought at Graveface Records. Great store if you're in Savannah, Georgia, which I couldn't recommend. That place is outstanding. The most haunted city in America, too, so they say. But I was so sore from all the walking we had done. I think put on 7 miles in a couple of days, and I'm not used to that. So I was like, whoa, but great stuff. Now, records brought back into my collection. This is the reissue that just came out. Now, I had the reissue, but lost the reissue during the flood. So I got a reissue of the reissue. But this reissue is more than that reissue because on here it comes in. It's a 2-album set. There. The first album. They're both in red. This is actually the second album. The second album is more Ginger Baker live. It's alive with Ginger Baker. But I don't know if you can see this. See that? It's kind of the album cover is etched onto here. So this is a bonus disc that has material that the other one didn't have. Obviously, these fella, these Cootie reissues I've just been grabbing up because he is such a favorite artist of mine. Though, and then with Ginger Baker, you get this good drumming, but quite honestly, they're not his best. With Ginger Baker, I think too much goes attention to him, and believe me, Cootie had great drummers. Extremely good. Just listen to some of the other ones like London Scene, but happy to have that. Also, I just picked this up at my local Radio Wasteland, the Repo Man. I had this before too, and what a great soundtrack. It took me forever to find this. I mean, forever. And I finally had, and it was really good. And it wasn't cheap back 10, 15 years ago. Well, it's still not cheap. But on here you have Repo Man by Iggy Pop, TV Party by Black Flag, Institutionalized by Suicidal Tendencies. You got the Circle Jerks are on here. Plug, Fear, Burning Sensations, more Circle Jerks, the Plugs. Just incredible, great songs. What a fun album for those that like your punk. We salute you with the Repo Man. The movie was quirky and kind of fun too, campy. Here was one I'm really excited to bring back in. Compilation, IRS Greatest Hits Volumes 2 and 3. I had this from the library. I remember in Minneapolis, and I went to the library and they had this. And so I brought it home and I taped it. And just, it opened my eyes to a lot of music of IRS that I didn't know. And, you know, there were so many punk compilations. And you can kind of see the artists there. It's a nice variety of them. We have the Flesh Tones, Brian James, Alternative TV, Squeezes on here, the Stranglers, Cramps, do Uranium Rock, the Humans, the Damned, John Cale, Jules Holland, the Police, the Buzzcocks, Oingo Boingo. Just what a great, this is such a good compilation. If you see it, you know, it isn't like it's going to cost you an arm and a leg, but there is volume 1, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get that one. There's I'd have a line on one, so that would be great. These compilations, punk compilations, I enjoy. You've been seeing a lot of them because Radio Wasteland, my local store, you bought that punk collection. There was a lot of compilations in there. Well, guess who's been scooping them up? Then we got this one, and this is a recent reissue. The cover's textured on here. Kind of see. It's a neat textured cover. Brighter Later from Nick Drake. This is my very favorite Nick Drake. That came from a 70s. They had a box set. That came from that. I just adore this album. It's more upbeat than some of his other albums. I like all of Nick Drake. It's not what you would normally, hey, he's a punky kind of guy. I know, yeah, I like punk. This is the anti-punk, but it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's thought-provoking, some very, very sad, but this was his upbeat one. He added horns. That's right, horns are in here. Super good album. If you've never tried Nick Drake, really, this is a great way to go. This one here. I brought this one back in. Reed and Fleece. This was the Vinyl Me Please. I saved my vinyl from this, so I still had that. And then someone brought it in. There's the color of the vinyl. talked about this one many times in the past on videos, as I'd been searching years and years and years to find this record album, and I'd never found it. And then in West Virginia, one night, I was at a record store. There it was. I purchased it. This is in Charleston, West Virginia. They have 2 record stores. I went to the second record store. A guy that once gave me a beer when I came in. Hey, I got some beer left over. You want one? Sure. I drank beer and bought records. Loved this guy. He was fun. But there it was. Another one. I went to another part of West Virginia. I found a record store in the scariest town in America. That thing was awful. But they had a record store in mail order. I found a third one. So I found 3 of these in West Virginia. Now they're all gone, but then I had this, now I got it back, and so happy to have it. I went to an estate sale, which I never do. I mean, I'm late. I'm not going to sit there and wait in line. I mean, screw it. I just I don't want to wait like that. But they had records, and we went in, and I spent a ton of money on a chair that I sit in, but it's really comfortable. But it was spendy. But they had some records. I looked, and I bought a lot of classicals, like 50 cents. But they had this beautiful copy that I used to have of Harry Belafonte Calypso and Deo Deo. Or on side 2, Starro, Starro. Oh, for God's sakes, come on. I think that first one's so good. Let's just change the lyric. But I like this album. Absolutely gorgeous shape. These people that had this house we went to, they were from Europe, and wow, this crap they had was pretty impressive. But nice classical collection. I bought some different things. The final one I brought back in my collection is Parliament Mothership Connection. I'm a huge Parliament fan. This really is when the weirdness really began happening, and they went head over heels with funk. They went on tour. They brought the spaceship with. They would come out of the spaceship. Crazy stuff. This does have on here, Give Up the Funk, Tear the Roof Off the Sucker, Night of the Thumpasaurus People, Super Groove Elastic, Pre-Funkastation, I don't know, Handcuffs, I can say that one, Unfunky UFO, classic funk, gotta have it. That's what I brought back into my collection. I have 1973. I haven't done 1973 yet. And, you know, my favorite albums from 73. So that's in the wings. I was going to do that, but I want to talk about Graveface Records and what I saw there and the enjoyable time I had. Graveface Records in Savannah, Georgia. So check them out. You can buy online, I guess. Some people have written to me and says, hey, I get stuff online from them. So, yeah, give them a look. Real nice people. Very, very nice. Totally enjoyed myself there. Thanks for watching, dropping by. See you Sunday. Bye.